It takes a rare level of maturity as a high school student to fully recognize your strengths, distinguish your passions from the things you find enjoyable, to have the foresight to know when a good opportunity will lead to others, and to take the talents you already have and combine them with a drive to always do better. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to Washington High School, where one senior is doing all of those things, and it's generating a brilliant future for her. Washington High School's Jasmine Johnson has a perfect 4.0 grade point average. That's especially impressive when you learn she's taking classes like this.
So first I go to CTE in the morning. I have principles of biomed. And then I come here, I have AP Calc, AP Spanish, AP Physics, and then AP Literature.
Principles of Biomedical Science is a Project Lead the Way course at the Sioux Falls School District's Career and Technical Education Academy, where today students are shattering cellular walls so they can study the chromosomes inside. It's exactly the kind of class you'd think a 3-year chemistry club member would take, that a 2-year leader of the Washington Chemistry Club would take.
So Jasmine has been a chemistry club member for 3 years, and she was in AP Chemistry last year, so I was her AP Chemistry teacher. And for the last year, last year and this year, she was a leader for Chem Club. We meet once a month after school, and we have a theme usually for each meeting, and Jasmine helps select that. And then she helps pick out the activities and the demonstrations that we're going to do, and then she and the other leaders are table leaders, and so they help the other students run those experiments during the meetings.
So we kind of sat down at the beginning of the year, last year and this year, and said, okay, every month let's make it a fun theme, something that everyone will know, or a new and interesting theme so we can get more people to come or keep people interested in coming. So usually it would be a lot of let's make posters, let's promote, let's decide themes. Also, it's deciding what food you want to bring, because you always want to have themed food, because everyone looks forward to having free food. And then also there's a bunch of activities that you do, so you sign up for each activity, kind of learn how to do it, so then when you have other people around you, you can show them how to do it too.
In addition to Chemistry Club, Jasmine is also a member of National Honor Society. She's a part of Warrior Reads. Throughout her high school career, she's also been involved with DECA, the leadership program focused on entrepreneurship, marketing, finance, hospitality, and management. She's been involved in Washington's choirs and show choir. Beyond the walls of Washington High School, she's involved in Sanford Medical Explorers and Teen Science Cafe.
It's more of a hands-on kind of science meeting is what they call it. So a lot of just teenagers come from the Sioux Falls area, and we all come to Sanford Research. We have a lot of hands-on activities just to learn about science that's happening like in our community. So like this month I was in charge of planning it, so we're learning about diabetes. We have an endocrinologist coming. Last month we had people that actually work in the research center talk about how they use cows for vaccines and stuff like that. So it's more of instead of just sitting and going to a lecture for extra credit, it's kind of doing hands-on things and actually learning about important stuff that's happening around us.
If her commitment to advanced and college-level classes and involvement in her school and community weren't enough, keep in mind that she also has a part-time job. The time, management, and focus it takes to succeed at all of these is not lost on the people who know her best.
She is amazing. She is such a hard worker, and she is so dedicated, and she knows what she wants, both from school and from life, and she is ready to go out there and get it.
Jasmine was a phenomenal student. I mean, from the get-go, what I noticed is she was kind of quiet at the beginning, and I kind of took that for granted, but as I got to know her, it was more of a focus and an intensity that she took as a student. She was really good. She's gifted, but it was also that more of that grit that she had. Just remember that she's one of those students, she'd get one wrong, and it wasn't like she was mad at me or it was mad at herself. It was more of like, I'm better than that. And I just remember that from the get-go. I'm like, Jasmine, it's a 99%. Well, I'm better than that. And I just remember going forward as the year went on, of just that complete intensity she took and the focus in the classroom. And that's what I remember about Jasmine the most. Well, I think they just see that she's pushing herself and that she's willing to work hard, even though she's got the gifts, and she does. I mean, she's in a lot of accelerated class. She's been accelerated probably most of her career, but she doesn't take that for granted. She uses those skills, and she tries to develop them even more and keep getting better at what she's doing. And I think that students see that and go, well, she's putting in all this effort, and she really doesn't have to, but she's doing it because she wants perfection out of herself.
She is just such a leader in the classroom. She is willing to help everybody else. She's just such a good role model as far as, if she can do it, she kind of gives that feeling that anyone else can reach those heights as well, and she is willing to support them along the way. Jasmine has been a straight A student her entire high school career so far, and with multiple accelerated and AP classes. And so she is a very dedicated student. She takes a lot of time and really knows what she wants to do after high school and is really preparing herself to do that while she's here. Jasmine put in a lot of work. She always asked questions, and she was just willing to put in the time and the effort, and that's really what it takes to be successful.
Jasmine's natural intelligence and work ethic, combined with a reputation she's earned at her school, came together last summer when she applied to be, and was named, a Sanford PROMISE Scholar, one of only 4 students in the greater Sioux Falls area to be accepted into the program.
My summer was very busy. I worked on the weekends at Hy-Vee, but I did the PROMISE Scholars experience this summer, so I worked 40 hours a week for 10 weeks, basically every single day this summer in the research lab at Sanford. It was kind of intense. At first I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I was really nervous, but once I got to know my mentor and the PI in charge of my lab, it got a lot easier. I was challenged every day just because I hadn't really had that biology background like I have now with biomed. So I was just kind of thrown in with a bunch of chemistry and had to get used to everything. But yeah, it was a really good experience. I learned a bunch. I'm even still using it now in biomed when we talk about all the different things. I kind of understood, wow, I learned a lot about this in the summer, a lot of biology that I didn't have before, which is really good going into like neuroscience or a biology major. I heard about it from my AP chemistry teacher, and I heard about it from another student who applied the year before me. And I knew it was a really good program, it was a really good thing to get into, but I knew there was only 4 kids that would get in, so I was really nervous, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get it. So the more I talked about it with my AP chemistry teacher, and she wrote the letter of recommendation and looked over my essays, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply just because it would be a really good experience. I didn't know if I wanted to go into clinical or the research field yet. And after that, then I went through an interview process, and then I was chosen and selected after that. So usually work 7 to 5, 7 or 8 to 5. Usually get there in the morning right away. It depends. Some mornings we had lab meetings. So those were the most nerve-wracking because you'd present what you found during the week, and then you'd have someone critique you and say, okay, do you actually know what you're talking about? Which was very intimidating, but we'd usually do those every Friday. We would do that. Otherwise, you just go in the morning and kind of plan with your mentor, like what does the rest of the day look for us, or what does the rest of the week look like for us? And then you'd usually go into cell culture. You'd start growing your cells, making sure they're looking okay, there's nothing contaminating. If we needed to put them in a new plate, we'd do that too. And then we usually go back to the lab, and sometimes we'd go into mouse house, or we'd see how the mice are doing, if any adjustments need to be made. Usually by then it'd be lunchtime because cell culture takes about 2 or 3 hours. So then you'd do that, and then you actually spend most of the time, I did at least, in the lab after that. Sometimes we'd have lectures as part of the program, and we usually have those on Thursdays about 4 to 5. But yeah, then we'd sit in the lab. Sometimes we'd take our cells and extract DNA or RNA, or we'd put them through PCR or through gel electrophoresis, or lots of different processes. It kind of just depended what you had done the day before.
I was so excited to hear when she got the internship with Sanford, because that's what she's always wanted to do. And I have worked at Sanford for a couple of summers with their teacher fellowship, and so it was really fun to get to see her have that same experience as a high school student.
I know it was a pretty prestigious award. I wrote the recommendation for her, so I was pretty excited that she got it, but just I knew it was a big deal. It's not many students get that opportunity, and like that's what I saw her going into that, of this medical field, and I see like, oh, this could be something for the future for her, like I said, in a leadership aspect of things. And I think her getting her feet dipped in right away as a junior and now senior, but I think that's going to be huge for her going forward, because she now has these connections and she's been in that experience, and that's going to just take her and catapult her to another level when she does get to college.
Just like everything in her high school career, Jasmine didn't just take part in the Sanford PROMISE program. She capitalized on the opportunity to hone her future plans.
I want to go to USD for neuroscience with a specialization in cellular and molecular neuroscience. It helped finalize just because I didn't know, because I know there's like specific lab majors that if you want to go into that I didn't know, so I didn't really know if I wanted to do research before that. But after talking with my mentor and kind of discussing, okay, what's the plan after this, what interests me, what do I know about, and after hearing about neuroscience and kind of reading about it and then talking it over with my PI about med school and prep for that, it was really nice because he's on the board of med school directors, so he knows a lot about it, so it was nice hearing from him like it's a good option and you'd be a good fit for it. So.
But the roots of her passion for medicine and helping others goes deeper.
My sister has autism and my cousin has epilepsy, so we kind of have a lot of neurological disorders in my family. So I've always kind of just been interested in it, and my stepmom works with kids who have disabilities, so I've always just kind of been surrounded by it. And once I started taking biology, I got more interested in psychology and learning more about it. And even my PI at Sanford this summer was really interested in neuroscience too, so I always talk to him all the time about it, and I want to go to med school, and it's a good pre-med school option.
The summer part of the program was a great experience for Jasmine, and it's no surprise she's sharing the experience and avidly encouraging others to apply.
Like, I just wouldn't have the biology background I have now, and just the experience I've gotten because of PROMISE Scholar. Like, I've got to speak at the school board meeting, and I've gotten to talk to other kids who want to be a PROMISE Scholar now about it, and it's, yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I know it's really scary because it's like only 4 kids get in, and it's a lot of hours, and it's basically your whole summer, but you also get a scholarship out of it, and you get to meet new people, and I could, if I want to, I could get a job there later this summer if I wanted to too. So what I always tell the younger people that ask me about PROMISE Scholars, I always talk about how I just didn't, like, I used to be really hard on myself because I always wanted to have everything perfect, like the perfectionist way. But after seeing, like, okay, if you are confident, that would be my #1 thing, is just be confident. Even though I didn't have a really strong biology background, I still got in. So it shows that, like, no matter what background you come from, they even told me to my face, like, they don't care whether you're super strong in all these things before you come in. Like, they obviously care if you try in school and everything, but they don't care if you have a super strong biology background or lab background. They care if you're actually willing to come in and you want to learn about this and you want to benefit from an experience like this. So I guess I'd want to leave behind, like, being confident and not underestimating yourself when you're going into something big like this.
Her experience working 40 hours a week in an actual research laboratory this summer brings a fair share of background knowledge to her biomed course this semester. But you'd never know it.
I think that goes back to just like her idea of expecting a lot out of herself, being intense. Like, she's not rude to others. She's willing to, you know, she might have learned that. Yeah, she might already know it, but there's more she can always learn in her mind. And she's not going to put anyone else down. And she is humble in that respect of, she's willing to probably help others that maybe might not get it. And she just enjoys the process of learning. And I see that. And I think that's kind of where that humble comes from.
As easy as Jasmine makes all of her considerable accomplishments look, it obviously wasn't and isn't.
Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, but I know at the end that I've gained something from it. So I know even though in classes sometimes I freak out about homework and there's so much to do, and then I have to work 4 to 10 that night, or I just have a lot to do, I still know, okay, I got it done. I'm gaining something from this. It'll prepare me for the future when it's going to get like 10 times worse in med school or college.
And that's precisely why Washington High School will miss her next year.
She's special. I think she's got such a special future ahead of her. She just has, from the get-go, there was a difference in her. I could see that difference of the students just got it. She's fiery with a good passion for learning. She cares for others, and she's pretty humble in the things she does. And I just from the get-go, I think I could just see as a sophomore, as a 15, 16-year-old, I could see that this future was bright for this student. I've seen it, it's starting to change. I've seen so many strong female students and just in those math and science fields, and I really think she can be a positive role model for that. I think someday, like I said, I think she'll be a leader of a company or a main surgeon or whatever she's doing in that route, and I just think people can go, wow, this girl can do it and I can do it. And as long as you keep focused and you believe in yourself, because that's a big thing with Jasmine. She believes in herself. She's not intimidated by others. She knows what she's good at, and she's willing to work to get to where she needs to go. So I think she can inspire that in a lot of students in general, not even females. I think she's just a really good inspiration to look towards, of work ethic and ability and desire to be better, and I think that goes a long way.
Hopefully everything that she wants to do will happen for her. But I think she'll be a really successful in whatever she does, research, patient care, whatever she chooses to do with that route.
She sticks to that circle of courage. She is someone who's belonging. She accepts everyone. She brings everyone in. She expects mastery of herself, which is tough for a lot of students, especially the gifted ones that they know they're good and they don't have to put forth the effort. But she wants to be perfect in everything she does. Kind of that independence piece where she's working by herself. She's willing to go out and focus on herself, but then also coming back to the others in the community. And I think she represents that by being involved. She's in a lot of the clubs. She's in endless clubs. I can't even keep count of what she's in, but I think that just shows how her willingness is to be around her community and be a strength in that.
Oh, she's awesome. I wish all of my students were like that. I think she's just an amazing role model, and that she shows everyone that it's doable, that you can take all these classes and still do these outside activities and be a well-rounded student both in and out of the classroom.
I wish there was thousands of Jasmine Johnsons. I mean, she's a fantastic student, and if more students were like her, we'd be in a really good place in this country, because I think she's a bright future that we could use more of. So.